What is going on, YouTube? It is Primitive here, and today I'm bringing you another EX3 deck profile, and we're going to be going over the deck that is probably one of the most, if not the most anticipated deck coming out of EX3, which is going to be Examon. Now, this deck, I'm just going to say out front, has not been having the success that I was expecting to in testing. Although it's still a very strong deck, it does feel like it has some pretty polarizing matchups and can struggle a lot with a lot of early aggression and stuff like that, but I have been testing this a bunch, and so wanted to give you the base list that I have right now. So when going into EX3, you have something to start off with. So let's go ahead and start getting on into the list. Starting off with the Digitama, of course, we are just going to be playing 5 Babydomon because we do have the new Dracomon, which Digivolves for 0 on top of Babydomon instead of Digivolving for 1 on any other egg. But you could replace with other eggs if you wanted to, but I find these to be fine. We have 4 of the Babydomon from BT10. This could be Upamon since it is very similar, but again, I want the Babydomon name, and then this Babydomon gives you plus 1k when you unsuspend. You are going to be unsuspending a lot with your top end, and we have other cards that support the unsuspend, but this card isn't that crazy. If you don't feel like the Babydomon name itself is that important to you, then you could switch them out, but I did find that the Babydomon name was important enough, so we're just going with the 4-in-1 here. Next up, getting on into the rookies, starting off with 2 Madoki Betamon, just memory blocker. I feel like there's still a lot of memory boosts and just various ways to gain memory, especially if this deck gets popular. You'll want to be able to negate some of the memory so they can't get through with their Hammer Sparks or their memory boosts. So I just like the 2 Madoki. Was playing it at 1, but bumped it up to 2 for a little bit more consistency. Next, we got 3 Vmon from EX1, our main card to support the unsuspend mechanic, because when you unsuspend during your main phase, you get to gain a memory, and this is really good late game because it's like a free Hammer Spark. We do play Hammer Sparks, but you can use this as a pseudo Hammer Spark, gain the memory, extend your plays, and so I really like this Vmon for your top end late game. And to finish off the rookies, we're going to have 7 Dracomon, 3 Dracomon from BT8 on play, reveal top 3, add a Drummon in its name to your hand, so very good rookie searcher. And then for the EX3 Dracomon on play, reveal the top 4, you grab 1 blue or green card with Drummon in its name, and then an Examon. So you can double hit, it's very nice, and it has the inheritable of all turns when one of your Digimon becomes, with Drummon or Examon in its name, becomes unsuspended, you get plus 1k DP for the turn, so much like our Babydomon rookie, so you can get good boosts, and the all turn effects is really nice because sometimes that can put you that 1k DP up threshold that you need so somebody can't swing into you. Next up, we're going to get into the champions. We'll start off with the 1 Kumamon here. I just have it for the hybrid for endgame. Also, just a nice little source strip. I was playing this without a hybrid, but there was a lot of times where it just felt like if I had a hybrid, there would have been a lot more games that I won. I tested it at 2 hybrids that it just feels too clunky because it's not a Drummon or anything like that, so just the 1 for endgame is nice. You can still search it out with things like Davis, so it isn't just a total brick in all your searchers, so we're just keeping it at a low count, but it does help end a lot of games. Then the rest of the champions are all going to be Cordramon, so starting off with 4 of the blue Cordramon, so you have Evade, and then you have your all turns inheritable invade if you have Drummon or Examon in its name. So evade, new mechanic, very good. When your Digimon will be deleted, you can suspend it to negate that deletion. And this is going to come up in a lot of ways, especially when you have all turns as an inheritable, because it means once you get up into your megas, if you're unsuspended, you try to delete it, they can just suspend it and it stays there. And it's something very similar to maybe like the Greymon X antibody effect. And so the evade is going to be very strong. Then we're going to be having 3 of the green Cordramon, which is going to have blocker and then inheritable blocker if you have Drummon or Examon in your name. And both of the Cordramons do have the black text where they digivolve for 2 from Dracomon instead of digivolving for 3, which is nice because we have 7 Dracomons. We are going to be having other rookies that sometimes you digivolve on top of, but you usually want to do it with your other Cordramon, which is going to be the starter deck 8 Cordramon. On play, trigger draw 2, it's also a security Digimon, so this is very nice to come out of security and get you some draw. I was playing it at a higher count, but it did feel a little bit bricky when it's in your hand, so I don't know if it's as worth it to play it that high of a count just for the security effect, but when it does come out of security, it's very good. But it is just a natural 2 to digivolve, so if you want to go on top of like your EX1 Vmon, you usually want to use like Kumamon or this Cordramon, but if you do have to digivolve for 3, it's not the biggest deal because we do have ways to gain memory, so it's not going to be that big of an expense. Next up, the Ultimates. We have 4 Wingdramon, 4 Groundramon. They work very similar to the level 4 Cordramons that we have, which is having Evade for the blue one here and the Evade Inheritable. And you also have your turn. Examons in your hand may treat this card as a level 6 Digimon for your DNA Digivolution. So you can use this as a level 5 to DNA into a level 7, essentially. And then end of your turn, you may use this to DNA this and one of your other Digimon Dramon and its name into a Digimon card in your hand, paying its DNA Digivolution cost. So this level 5 is very nice because a lot of the times you don't want to be DNAing 2 level 6s to get up an Examon. You want to either be doing like a level 5, level 6, or level 5, level 5, because we also have the Ground Dramon, which is going to work very similar to the Wing Dramon, where this one is going to have Blocker, much like the Green Cordramon, with the Inheritable as well, and then also has the same effects as the Wing Dramon. So your turn, Examon may use this as a level 6 card for DNA, and then end of turn, you may DNA Digivolve with another Dramon. So you can use these 2 to DNA Digivolve up. They are very nice. They have very good effects in themselves. So these cards are very strong. I just kind of wish that there was a little bit more variety in what they did, just because there are a lot of times where you have a green Cordramon stack and you have to go to a green Groundramon stack and they just have the same inheritables. So there are a lot of stacks where you feel like you have very repetitious inheritables that are kind of not that useful unless you're unsuspending during your turn and you can just continually evade or something like that. But regardless, they are still very strong, and that wraps up our ultimates. Now getting on into the Megas, we will start with the newer ones, the Slayer Dramon and Break Dramon. So Slayer Dramon, Digivolve from 3 from Wing Dramon or Ground Dramon. So if you follow these stacks, you can kind of reduce the Digivolution cost all the way up, which is nice. But all turns, once per turn, when this Digimon becomes suspended, unsuspend this Digimon. So here's one of our unsuspenders that we can get value off of with like our Vmons or our Babydomon or Dracomon. But also, at the start of your opponent's main phase, you can suspend one of your Digimon with Dramon or Examon's name, and your opponent has to attack with one of their Digimon. So you could suspend, let's say you have a Cordramon out, you can suspend it. Your opponent's going to be forced to attack. If you have Blocker as an inheritable under your Slayer Dramon, you can block with it, and then when you suspend, you unsuspend. And so this card is very good. It has the same inheritable start of your opponent's main phase. You can suspend one to make them attack. So again, even if you don't have it out and just have it as an inheritable, it can work very well. It also works very well with the Break Dramon, because Break Dramon also Digivolve from 3 from Ground Dramon or Wing Dramon. When you suspend it, you can suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. So if your opponent is forced to attack, they'll suspend one. You can suspend your Break Dramon to suspend the other Digimon, which gets rid of a lot of the aggression there. And then all turns, when one of your Digimon with Dramon or Examon is named, deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle and survives, trash one card of the top of your opponent's security stack. Now, it has the same inheritable as this effect, which is very important because, as we're about to go over with Examon, it is possible to stack these, and essentially you can go ahead and swing over a Digimon and trash 2 of their security, and it becomes very potent. So Break Dramon, I kind of value a lot more than the Slayer Dramon, but they're both very good. They kind of have to work together, but I found the Break Dramon effect of being able to trash security just be very game altering, so big fan of Break Dramon. And then to finish off the Megas, we are playing 1 Imperial Dramon Dragon Mode, which is a card I did not see people playing, which surprises me because this card is absolutely insane. We all know what it's going to be doing because it's, been around for a while now. But when Digivolving, you play 1 level 4 lower blue Digimon and or 1 level 4 lower green Digimon card. So this is important because we have the Dracomon, so this can count as either. We also have the blue and the green champion, so a lot of the times you are going to be able to play 2 Digimon off of this effect, but the thing is even if you only get 1, what you can do is you can play, let's just say, the Cordramon out, the blue Cordramon. You can play this out from the Imperial Dramon Dragon Mode effect, Digivolve up into one of your Wing Dramon or Ground Dramon, and then since you have a blue-green Dramon on the board, regardless of which one you Digivolve into, then you can end of turn DNA up into Examon. And so I found this to be a very good way to do things like choke your opponent, because let's say you go to 3, you can Digivolve for 4, put them to 1, and then go for your effects. But it's also just something where at Digivolving for 4, you can just Hammer Spark for 1, and then you can get these combos, go for the DNA. You can kind of just keep it your turn with the Examon if you can. And so Imperial Dramon Dragon Mode has been super insane. I don't understand why people weren't playing it. It feels like the best Mega in the deck, but you can't really play more of it, unfortunately, because the Slayer Dramon and the Break Dramon have to work together, so you have to play them at a decent count, so that way you can find them consistently, build multiple stacks, and also be able to play them off of Examon. But Imperial Dramon Dragon Mode just feels like the best Mega. It has the one that kind of shifts the game the most, and I definitely expect this to become standard once it comes to North America. And to finish off the Digimon, we have the boss monster himself, Examon. DNA Digivolve 0 from a blue or green level 6, but as we saw, we can use the level 5s as sources instead because of their effects. And then when Digivolving, you may place one green or blue Digimon card with Drumon's name from your hand to the bottom of its Digivolution cards, which is really big because you could put things like Break Dramon or Slayer Dramon in there. And then this is kind of where I said they can stack, because then when DNA Digivolving, you may play one green or blue Digimon card Drum on its name with 12,000 or less DP from your hand without paying its memory cost. So you could essentially put a Break Dramon underneath and a Break Dramon on board and then swing, and then that will give you 2 of your trash 2 security when you swing over something. You're at 15k with Examon, so you're going to be able to swing over most things. So this effect is super insane considering that you can do it from level 5s. And then all turns, once per turn when this Digimon becomes suspended, unsuspend it, and suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. So again, here's another one of our unsuspenders that we can gain memory from. This is mostly where the EX1 Vmon comes in, because I feel like once you stabilize as an Examon, you stay on the board much longer, especially with the Invade inheritable. And so you can go ahead and just keep gaining memory every turn, but also being able to suspend one of your opponent's Digimon is super big, because that means you could swing in, unsuspend, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, swing over it, and then get the Break Dramon trashes. So obviously Examon is very strong, and this is what the deck is going for. This is your main monster that you're trying to get up into, and so Examon has been very good. It's just you have to keep in mind that sometimes it is a little slow to get up into him, so he struggles with early aggression, but once you get up into Examon, you can really control the board and just go for game very quickly without having to worry about security triggers, because they all get trashed. Getting on into the options, it's going to be pretty simple, starting off with one Ice Wall. Shout out Team Ice Wall, just very good card. It's never going to really be bad. 3 Hammer Spark, just for the versatility of it. This card is insane, being able to gain a memory to expend your turns, or the security trigger is just ending your opponent's turn or making it so they can do less. Hammer Spark's always been good, just like Ice Wall. It's really never going to be bad. And then we're playing 2 Megadeth. I have been considering cutting 1 Spark to go up to 3 Megadeth, but I think that's kind of just personal preference. But Megadeth is obviously one of the best cards. Being able to have a blue-green deck, you want to be playing Megadeth. This card is just one of the best removals for the cost efficiency of it and how effective it is. So Megadeth and auto occlude. And to finish off the list, we are going to have our Tamers. So for memory Tamers, we have 2 Davis. A lot of blue and green cards in here, so we want to be double hitting off of Davis. Very good consistency. And we have the Kumamon, so being able to put this on top for endgame pressure is really nice. Then we're playing 1 Mimi. It's pretty easy to stabilize a level 5 or higher green in this deck, especially if you get up into Examon or something like Dragon Mode. So being able to have the continual aggression to be able to just suspend, hatch, Digivolve up, start building and raising, or just get that cycle and just make it so you basically promote every single turn and you can keep swinging. It helps a lot. Mimi is kind of a personal pick. I don't know if everybody will end up playing Mimi, but it was kind of a thing in early Imperial too, because it kept the constant aggression, but I didn't think it was as good in Imperial, although I did play it during the Rapidmon times, but it did definitely die off. But it feels way more potent in this deck just because you want to be building up to big Digimon so frequently that being able to promote, hatch, and then build up something else in raising, so that way next turn you can promote and continue, helps a lot. So do like the Mimi. And then to finish off, we are just playing 1 Davis Ken, mostly because I couldn't really find any more space to play more, but there aren't as many dual color blue-green Digimon as there are in something like Imperial, as to where there's just a lot of separate blue and green Digimon, so you might not always get the 2 memory off of this, but when you do, it's going to be very nice. But even just being able to have that 1 extra memory every turn helps. Being able to go to 3 with Davis, gain 1 memory here, you're at 4, now you can go for Dragon Mode without having to pass turn, or be able to Digivolve up, build a stack, whatever you need. So regardless, Davis Ken is just very strong. But that is the list. Examon, a very fun deck. I'm very curious to see where it's going to end up tier list wise when it comes to the North America metagame, because it's a deck that can just be so strong but also be so weak depending on the matchup. So we will have to see how it comes out, but I hope this is a good starting list for you all, and let me know what you like and what you dislike about the list, and if you do test it, come back and let me know what you think. But I'll catch you all next time for another Digimon video. Hope you have a great day. Peace out.